What if you could go inside the world of your favorite movie? That's been the promise of virtual reality for many decades, and we finally have a glimpse of that future with Marvel's What If, an immersive story built by Marvel Studios and ILM Immersive. This has been one of the most hyped experiences for Apple Vision Pro, and today I'm going to share some of my thoughts about this experience. So starting with what worked. First of all, it was really impressive that they used Unreal Engine. I think this was the first example of an app at this level to use Unreal Engine for the Vision Pro. There's also this great sense of presence that I felt from the characters, that I made eye contact with them. It felt like they were really there in my space. There's this sense of physicality, even though it's of course completely virtual. I also thought it was clever how they bounced back and forth between mixed reality, where I was in my room and the virtual elements were composed in there, and then also fully immersive spaces where I was completely somewhere else. The art and character design was really top-notch. I love this mechanic of watching a regular video and then jumping into the world of that scene in fully 3D game engine environments. So that's what worked. Now, what didn't work was a lot more, and unfortunately really marred my overall impression of this experience. About 50% of the about hour that this whole experience runs is straight up just watching flat videos. And if I wanted to watch videos, I would have opened Disney+. So that for me was just kind of boring to watch. Like, I really didn't care to just sit and watch these clips of different moments from the show. The interactive elements that are there felt unnecessary and undeveloped. They didn't really add much to my experience. So for example, one of the mechanics is shooting like laser beams at enemies. And there's no health, there's no ammo, there's no reloading or anything like that. It's just straight firing single shots into enemies in a very repetitive way. And as an experiment, I stopped shooting at the enemies to see what would happen, and nothing happened. So that told me that there were absolutely no stakes. There was no way of losing, or there's no game over like you might see in a video game, which maybe is okay because this is not necessarily intended to be a video game. But I felt like without stakes and you're asking me to participate in the story, there's just a big missing gap there in the overall thinking of what this could be. I found the story to be convoluted and disjointed. It's essentially a series of disconnected vignettes. And overall, I just really didn't care much for the characters or for what was going on. I felt like this is just meant to be like a tech demo to show you what's possible with the Vision Pro, which is neat, but it could have been probably about a third as long and been a much better, more interesting experience. Some other challenges that I experienced also apply to other visionOS apps, like the hand tracking being at a low frame rate and being a bit jittery. When I was in mixed reality mode and the characters were in my room, I would see that the characters would overlay and intersect with physical objects in my room. And that's a challenge with just other apps overall, not necessarily specific to What If, but that definitely broke the immersion. And similarly, as I would move around, the app would fade in and out because that was just something to do with the visionOS operating system to keep you safe so you can see your surroundings, which makes sense, but again, took me out of the immersive experience that they had intended. I know how hard it is to make apps like these, so I respect the developers tremendously for putting this together. But overall, this feels like a missed opportunity. This was their chance to showcase what the Vision Pro could look like with a higher production value, with Marvel and Disney IP, and show you this future of what the intersection of a movie and a video game could really look like. I'm still a believer in this merger between movies and video games, and I think we see a taste of what that could look like with What If, but ultimately it's stuck in between this middle ground of not quite knowing what it is. One way they could have improved this is perhaps instead of doing a series of disconnected vignettes, if it was more of one singular continuous story like you might get in a TV show between 15 minutes to 30 minutes. Those are my thoughts on What If. I'm curious what you think. Did you have a better experience than me? Are my expectations just too high? If you want to chat with me about how you can make your own visionOS app better, head over to visionosdevpartners.com. Thanks so much for watching. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.